And this morning, Russia has announced a temporary ceasefire in Ukraine in order to help and in order to provide succor for the humanitarian crisis in the country. This is according to reports by the Russian state media agency Sputnik, where Russia's defense ministry has reportedly announced a ceasefire to allow the civilians who've been blockaded in several cities across Ukraine to be allowed a safe passage, predominantly in the two major cities of Mariupol and Volnovakha. Now, it is being estimated that at least about 200,000 civilians are presently stranded because of the blockade in the key port city of Mariupol, and about 20,000 civilians have been stranded in the city of Volnovakha. Now, earlier, Mariupol's mayor Vadim Boychenko had stated that the city had been under a complete blockade by the Russian forces after days of ruthless attacks. Now, the key port city of Mariupol has been under intense attack for several days now, and the people inside of these two cities have no access to water or electricity during the height of winter. Now, reports have said that Russia will in fact be allowing the citizens to leave from the cities of Mariupol and Volnovakha from 700 GMT, that is 7 o'clock in the morning GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. Now, Russia has also stated that it has agreed with Ukraine the humanitarian corridor, that is the routes that people will be allowed to take for their evacuation during this ceasefire. Now, this is the latest bit of information that has come in, where Russia has now announced that it is going to cease fire. It's not clear for how long, but it is doing this to address the humanitarian crisis in some of the big cities across Ukraine that have been completely blockaded during the course of this invasion. And earlier, my colleague Eric Njoka spoke with our correspondent Anas Malik, who's presently joined, who's been reporting from western Ukraine, from the city of Lviv. And this is what he had to say about the ceasefire that's been announced by the Russian government. Listen in.
Has been a lot of resistance. Well, as we speak, this city of Mariupol, and this resistance has been that of from the citizens. Now, presumably, and I have to choose my words very carefully, that presumably the Russian side does not want any more civilian casualties. The reason they have declared this ceasefire, so that it can, it would be having two advantages to its effect. One, the citizens who are resisting can leave or have the opportunity to leave, so that the Russian forces, as and when they advance, they would have a free path. That is number one. And number two, in case if there is a civilian casualty, Russia still has a fallback mechanism to say that, well, we had told you that there was a ceasefire. It was your own mistake to not leave. You had ample amount of time. That's what they can possibly claim. So therefore, this ceasefire, especially in the city of Mariupol, which is strategically important as well, therefore it is absolutely imperative, and it suits the Russian side to bolster up their image, to have something to talk about with the international community in case if the situation escalates. Well, as we speak, this has been reported in the Russian media that a ceasefire has been agreed upon in the second round of talks that were held in Belarus, and that's what they are saying, that the ceasefire has come into effect starting 8 a.m. Ukraine time, and that's about since the past 46 or 47 minutes. That's what they claim. As we talk, there is no independent confirmation on the matter as we speak, whereas we expect the Ukrainian government or Ukrainian outlets to come up with a statement in a while from now. But in case if this is true, this is a major sigh of relief for the residents of Kiev, for Mariupol, for Kharkiv, for Sumy and associated areas that have been under intense Russian attack, intense Russian invasion and shelling since the past 10 days or so. We've seen a lot of civilian casualties. We've seen a lot of civilian areas being damaged as well. So this ceasefire can possibly be can be taken in light of that, giving access to civilians to evacuate these areas by utilizing this opportunity. Europe has never seen in the past 3 or 4 decades a refugee influx of this sort. Europe has never seen a crisis of this sort in the past few decades, and that is the reason which aggravates in the situation, because the Europeans are not equipped to handle such a situation, be that be the refugee influx, be that be the handling of the personnel at the border, be that be the situation that the Ukrainians are in current. So by and large, that is the reason we're seeing that long and long queues, about 5 to 7 kilometers long, at the Medica crossing or at the Karachova crossing as well, that the border of Ukraine and Poland, which is the border of Ukraine and Poland, because as I said, there is no mechanism per se that one would be allowed blanket in a blanket manner to cross over. There are checks that are in place. There are SOPs that are to be followed. In the usual circumstances, these SOPs would just take a minute or two, but these are unprecedented times. These are not usual times. Therefore, longer queues, longer waiting, and thousands and thousands of people piling up. And the reason people are, those from Ukraine, they are looking this as a window of opportunity to leave their country, to flee to safety, not because they do not love their country, but because they have loved ones to take care of. For instance, I will tell you, when I was crossing a day before yesterday, I met a family, a woman, she had a 5-year-old with her, who she had managed to cross with to safety into Poland, but she had left her 70-year-old mother behind here in Ukraine, for the fact that the 70-year-old mother could not be kept waiting in the car for so long, or she could not walk this long as well. When I say she could not walk this long, that means at least 5 or maybe 7 kilometers long. So therefore, there's a gut-wrenching emotion that's there as well. As I said, Europe has never seen this. They're not equipped. They're trying to make amends, but it will take time, and the situation is evolving day by day, or rather hour by hour.